If you wouldn't mind just muting your own, that would be great as well. And just leave your videos on. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so you may not know who I am, but really, I'll just give you a brief overview. My name's Jason Josselson. I'm a design architect. I've worked in commercial firms for about 20 years. And my whole foundation at the beginning of my career was to make my life easier as a design architect. And so today we're going to be speaking about how AI has influenced this process right now and may be influencing this process. And we're just going to take a look at a whole bunch of things to do with AI. It's very hard to do it linearly because there's just so much happening in the world of AI right now. So we can't really pinpoint everything exactly. You know, it's not as linear as the pencil was or the ruler was. And there's just a lot of stuff happening. So we're going to touch on a whole lot of points. So who's this for? If you're an architect, a building designer, interior designer, urban designers, landscape architects, students of architecture. So you're going to get a bit of insight into the world of AI tonight, or what I know of AI. There's a lot more than I'm going to teach you tonight out there. But what I've been sort of playing with, we are going to speak about. And what you'll learn in this masterclass is that architecture is not a lottery. It's a precise science and art. And that there is a huge problem in the world right now with AI because it's sort of like a lottery. You know, you kind of, if you do something in AI, it gives you permutations of what you've done, but not exactly the way you want it, but the way it wants it. So you can't really pin it down as easily as you would like to. And so that's what we're going to be speaking about tonight. And that's exactly the main thrust of the topic. So you also can't believe you can rely on one architectural tool, right? So you might find a program or someone selling something online and they say, oh, this is it, you know, everything you can do here. So we're going to speak about that, you know, this whole idea of using one tool. We're also going to speak about how to keep control in this new unraveling of artificial intelligence, of how do you control your design? How do you control the presentation of your design? How do you do it, you know? Because, you know, AI is just spitting out random stuff a lot of the time. So you kind of need to pin it back. And we're going to show examples. You'll get a feeling for it, exactly what I'm speaking about. We're going to be using a combination of tools to achieve final results. So what I'm going to be showing in this presentation is why you may need certain tools in this industry. If you're an architect, you're going to need the tools I'm going to be showing you tonight to keep on top of the wave. You don't need to know a whole bunch about AI, but you need tools of old to keep on top of the wave of AI. So I'm saying to you that you don't need to be someone that's way ahead of the game, but you need a certain combination of tools to keep you on the top of that wave. So we're also going to talk about working fast, because that's also been the main thrust of my career. I've been a designer, I've been designing buildings, and I've been presenting proposals in record times because I found an easier way, at least 15 years ago, to do my presentations and proposals quickly. So that is sort of what I've been teaching online. But now with AI, it's a little bit disruptive because now things are super, super fast without a huge amount of effort. So we're going to get into that. So I'm going to talk about also a more efficient way of creating proposals, combining these three softwares, stimulating the design process. Because if you stimulate the design process at the beginning, if you're involved with conceptual design and design proposals, there are ways to get the clients buying a lot quicker if you have amazing stuff to present them earlier on, like sort of way advanced conceptual pre-concept design drawings can really switch your client on. So we're also going to talk about turning your PC into a revision machine, because the drawing board, as we know, the drawing board is a wonderful tool. It's a piece of wood or a piece of metal that you draw on. And we are so used, I mean, the old school architects, to overlay different levels of tracing or bump or butcher paper or whatever you call it in your country, and evolving your design by using these layers of paper, and then refining your plans, and then jumping into perspective and sections and elevations. And that is a process that we need to hold on to. There's no ways to lose that process. You need to use the computer in the same way that that process of iteration happened on the drawing board, and happens still on the drawing board, not to lose those processes, but to reintegrate them into the way you work. So we're going to be speaking about that too. Why should you learn from me? I've spent 23 years of creating design proposals for over at least 50 commercial projects. And I've worked really at the startup phase. So my job has been getting the proposals to monetize. And a lot of the time, the proposals don't monetize. So you might find that 1 out of 10 projects may actually become fee worthy. So it's sort of like this game that you play. If you're in a commercial company, they have so much work that's thrust at them. So they have to have this whole process of communication. So I've got to learn within the heart of several big companies how to do this. And so I was paid day in and day out to refine my processes. And those processes are the processes that I want to imprint onto my students. And those processes can change the life of a veteran architect and also of a young architect. You know, you can spend 10 years trying to work out what I've actually gone through, or you could kind of gather it from me. So one also needs to learn from real world situations, you know. So if you are a design architect and you've worked in the commercial world of architecture, and you can teach what you've learned to other people out there, it's a wonderful thing, because there's a lot of stuff online right now where the guys that are teaching their processes have never, ever worked in a real world situation, but they're teaching you how to draw on an iPad, or they're teaching you how to, but they're lecturers at university. There's like a whole lot of people out there that have never really worked in the commercial world. So, and they're teaching their tactics, which is not great, because workflow is everything. So this is the issue. We don't want to work through the night. We don't want to stress as designers. We want to be able to enjoy our lives, our processes. Just give me 1 second, guys. I really just want to see the Zoom bar here so I can control. Okay. There we go. I just go grab the Zoom bar. It disappeared because I get a lot of people wanting to chat. Okay, so stick around, because we're going to be going through some amazing stuff. The whole idea of being an architect is so important that you need to make sure you have a life balance, you know, where you can enjoy your downtime with your friends, your family, your loved ones, whoever you enjoy being with. And that was the thrust of my ethos from the beginning. I wanted to try and make more time for myself, and my processes all evolved around that, you know, because while everyone's stressing through the night, I was sleeping, going home early, you know, and I didn't want to work through the night. So this is me inside a commercial firm in Johannesburg, and this is the type of proposals I would do on a daily basis. Maybe 2 proposals a week, maybe 3 sometimes, but that is sort of the way I would work, you know, and it would all start with schematic design, and then it would evolve. And what I found the most powerful thing is that you do not need complexity to sell to one's clients. You do not need that type of complexity. I'm just going to mute everyone here. Just mute participants. Mute. Okay, that's just it. Okay, great. So you don't need complexity to sell to your clients. Your clients always need simplicity, because we all, can everyone hear me? Okay. Yeah. Just try and tone down these people. Give me 1 second. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Just a little bit distracting. There is a way. Mute all. There you go. I found it. I couldn't find the button. Every week I lose that button, the mute all button. As long as it doesn't mute me. Brilliant. Okay, so the whole idea is to simplify the process for your clients. When you meet with your clients on a weekly basis and you're evolving your design, clients need baby food. They need something to relate to really quickly. And so the whole idea of simplifying the way you communicate is key. So we're going to speak about that a little bit more. I'll just tell you a little bit about me. I live in Jerusalem, in the Middle East, in Israel. From South Africa. I live here with my family. Basically been here for about 6 years. And in the beginning of my career, this is how it worked. These are the type of projects I'd be working on, from commercial schemes, you know, shopping centers, corporate buildings, you know, really big mixed use stuff. And this would all be schematic. This would be in the first few days. And then we'd evolve it into projects that would be rendered really quickly, but nicely in SketchUp with Photoshop. And those are the processes that really got me moving really quickly through my processes. Open air shopping mall, high-rise towers. So I've used all the softwares like V-Ray, you know, just this is a quick mart in South Africa, just a small shopping center. These projects are like a day or two. They take a day or two to do from beginning to end. And I'm going to show you some really cool stuff. So stick around. I'm going to show you some amazing stuff with AI that is going to blow your mind. So don't go anywhere. We're going to get into it. I'm just going to give you a little bit of foundation so you know who I am. This is the type of stuff I'd be modeling my projects in Revit, taking them into SketchUp, and then modeling them a little bit more in SketchUp, tweaking them in SketchUp, bringing Entourage in SketchUp, and then using Photoshop to do some tweaks. And so these projects were all used to ignite schematic plans within the first week of meeting the clients. This is 15 hectares in Nigeria. I modeled this whole thing in Revit and SketchUp and used Lumion to render it. So there've been huge projects, there've been hundreds of projects, and the whole idea is just to streamline the workflow. And yes, some of these projects become real. They become fee-worthy, some don't. And I've worked with some very prestigious firms, some prestigious directors. And these are some of the buildings. This is a hotel in Johannesburg, South Africa. There's a shopping center in Nigeria. And then the Pretoria Mall. And there've been about several others that really big stuff that have manifest. I've also had the privilege to work with people online, like Eric Bobre is a good friend of mine. We look at Blue Turtle here on the right-hand side. And then also we're taking a look at Revit Pure and the Balkan Architect. And I've been on all their channels, YouTube channels. And so been really privileged to chat with them online, and also been very privileged to teach hundreds of students over the last 3 years. So let's quickly jump into it, right? Where have we come from? We've come from here, really. You know, when you take a look, obviously these guys were pre-World War II, drawing on the floor because the paper was huge. And so using pens in their suits, you know, and evolving, you know, the drawing board evolved. In the 80s became something more complex. And then, like right now in the world, this is what you would possibly find everyone is setting up. You know, you're lucky if you've got 3 screens. 3 screens are amazing, you know. But the whole idea of preserving the process on the drawing board is really the key when you are using computers. And computers are beautiful tools. They're the most amazing tools in the world. But if you don't use them creatively, they don't give you that creative vibe. You've got to know how to be creative with them. And so that's sort of been my passion, is how do you be creative with the tools of the PC? And I'm not even using a Mac. I'm using a PC, you know. So it's really been my passion over the years. And there are ways to work with the PC that will liberate your architectural creativity in such a wonderful way. So what is the whole idea of iteration, you know? So that is the key. How do you iterate design? And we're just going to get into this quick slide. You know, Albert Einstein, he says that intellectuals solve problems and geniuses prevent them. So if you come up with a workflow that can really streamline a process, and yes, there are many workflows out there. I'm not suggesting that mine's the only one that works. There are other people that have streamlined their workflows, but mine's a pretty good one. And you can take a look at it as we're going to speak about right now. But if you can solve those issues in your workflow and the tools you use, you know, then you can really move very quickly without that stress that we feel in our kidneys as designers, you know, kind of have this huge heaviness on your shoulders before a deadline. And you can eradicate that completely, and you can completely streamline your workflow. So let's talk about my workflow. So this is my virtual drawing board. Now, this slide is everything about tonight. This is the slide that I've been working on all day. And I was trying to think, how could I express what I'm trying to explain to you in a simple way? So we're going to go through the slide. So obviously, when you take a look at this first slide here, the first circle, it's about two-dimensional CAD, right? So the way you or I would work is I would set up a schematic two-dimensional plan first. That's how you work. You need to find out the scale of your building. You need to understand what the council or the city needs, and you have to kind of schematically draw that up in two-dimensional. That's how all of us work as designers. Then the second process would be for me, it would be the Revit process, which is really the 3D modeling and the massing of that schematic plan, which normally takes me probably 3-4 hours to refine my design, but to get something conceptual going. So at least it can be measured. It needs to be a measured drawing. And this is where AI is having problems, right? Because AI gives you the most amazing stuff, but there's no way to measure it. There's no ways to put it back into reality that easily. It gives you like this random stuff. And then now what must I do with this? You know, I'll show the client will go, wow, but now I've got to go back to my computer and try and push it out. So that's the big problem with AI. That's what we're going to talk about today. So other people are using ArchiCAD, Vectorworks, Allplan. It doesn't matter what you model in, whatever you're good in. I use Revit because it's got a massing system in it, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And it's really helped me over the years to streamline my design process, because I can model the envelope of a high-rise building, and I can put those slabs in and curtain wall systems and have something looking absolutely fantastic in a very short time. And then once I've modeled my building and I've modeled my, if you want to call it, my parking areas and my gardens and my slabs and the connection to the roads and all of that type of thing, my basements, I take my model into SketchUp. And what do I do in SketchUp is, you might say, I can do everything in Revit. You know, I can put cars, I can put trees, I can put, I don't know, people in Revit. Revit's a great program, but it's not dynamic like SketchUp. It's not easy to use like SketchUp. Where SketchUp, you can embellish your models with the most mind-blowing accuracy and speed. You could put people, cars, trees, planes, whatever you want in SketchUp, and you can also find the views that you're looking for in SketchUp in the most marvelous way. So SketchUp is sort of like this in-between tool. Now, what I'm suggesting right now, we're going to jump onto another slide and we're going to go back, is that once you get into SketchUp, then obviously you can start to render. And I'm talking about traditional ways of rendering. You know, when you're rendering with D5, V-Ray, Lumion, Enscapes, Twinmotion, Maxwell Render, Blender, whatever you're using to render, this is where it happens. It happens at this stage of the process, unless you're doing conceptual design. But there are two places. We're going to speak about that now, where you need renders. And there's a different sort of process to getting renders. And we are going to speak about that right now. So here we go. You take a look at the two pink lines here. The first pink line is the first time that you would come up with ideas and 3D ideas. And that ideation, or if you want to call it pre-concept ideas, is amazing with artificial intelligence. Right now, it's mind-blowing, but there is an issue of tying it back down to reality. And as you move forward through this process, to the SketchUp process, and you get to this stage where the design is more refined after you've met with your client a few times, then you need to start rendering it more accurately. So there are two stages where you would possibly use these modeling tools or AI. And then after you've used these processes, you would need Photoshop. You would need Photoshop to assemble everything. You know, you've got a presentation, you've created the most amazing model of your plan, and now you need to use SketchUp and Photoshop together. So I'm sandwiching in two new tools for everyone. I think everyone could benefit from these tools like I have, but SketchUp as an add-on to what you're doing, not replacing anything that you're doing, and Photoshop, and using those two tools will set you up like never before for the future of AI, because AI needs an easy way to view a model. And once you've created your renders in AI, you need the ability to put it together into a presentation. And maybe presentation AI will come out. I'm sure it has already, but Photoshop is the most wonderful, easy to use tool. So that's why I'm speaking about SketchUp and Photoshop at this junction over here. And it's super important that you could be using Midjourney, you could be using Adobe Firefly, or Creo or Stable Diffusion or Savati. All of these things really are doing similar things, but different things. And we can't show you everything that AI is doing, but I've picked 2 or 3 different places to start. And the first place we're going to start really is we're going to start in Midjourney. And I'm just going to jump into that slide. So here's another slide here. So let me just see here, artificial intelligence. Yeah, this is it. So we've spoken about this slide, and this is really my process. So I would start, just to go back a little bit, 2D schematic design, 3D modeling in whatever software you're good at, then setting up the entourage in SketchUp. You can see there's an image. I can make it a little bit bigger so you can see how it came out, you know. And then at the end of the day, using AI or using other render methods, old school methods here, to produce a printed A3 or A0 or A1 to show your client. Now, I just wanted to say to you this. What I found in my career really, really worked was 2 things. Turning my drawings into handcrafted drawings that looked almost sketch-like, because somehow clients respond to that type of drawing in a different way. They really can relate to it a lot easier. And I'm sure you've experienced it if you've done hand sketches, but you can use the computer to create sketches as well. And they're different ways. So you can use AI, and you can also use a method called the Artful Render, which we use. But when it comes to showing your client imagery, you shouldn't, if you're not on Zoom, if you're not far away, if you're not in a different county or a different country, you should always show your clients the work on paper. What I found is when I show my clients work on paper, and I'm talking about the perspective renders right now, and like a brochure on A3 or tabloid, if you want to call it tabloid, I found that my clients absolutely respond to it on paper. It's like 10x's the impact, you know. So if you're sitting opposite your client, having a cup of coffee in the boardroom, and you're putting it on paper, they're just going to really ignite a lot quicker than if you were showing them on the big screen that's sitting on the wall. So those are the principles that I followed, and they really were extremely effective. And it wasn't because I wanted to show them on paper. I just saw that they were responding to the paper over so many different projects, and a lot. They felt it was more tangible. They could go home with an A3 or a tabloid size that would fit on the car seat next to them when they were going back to show their colleagues, or whoever was interested, or the developer that may be financing it. So anyway, let's move forward. We're going to take a look tonight at Midjourney. We're going to take a look at what Midjourney is doing in the industry. We're going to take a look at how it works. And we also, this is the great place to start, is ideation. So we're going to take a look at the ability that Midjourney has to ideate, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. So I use two things to ideate. And when I mean ideate, to inspire myself to move forward in my design process, and also show the clients, I use Pinterest, which I'm sure a lot of you already use, and I use Midjourney. And Midjourney is an absolutely powerful tool. The other thing that we're going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at a program which is called Prom AI, what they're doing. So they've got their own product. There are so many products out there right now that I would say to you, please don't be overwhelmed, because I think the world is finding its feet still in what works and what doesn't work. It's like everyone's exposing the potential of AI, but it's kind of really intimidating, because you don't know, should I be using it? Shouldn't I be using it? Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Everything is sort of good, and it's not like achieved its sort of pinnacle yet, but it will. It's going to take a couple of years for that to happen. So it's like everyone's strutting their stuff right now. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think somehow it will start converging. So we need to, just like it happened with AutoCAD and with Revit and with ArchiCAD, and it took years for it to sort of settle in the industry. So AI is also needing to find its feet. So let's move on, okay? So there's just some crazy stuff out there. I saw this Creo today. You can take a look at Creo. You just draw, and as you draw on the right-hand side, it creates these type of images for you live while you're drawing. So we're going to experiment with these type of things, and then we're going to speak about, what other methods work out there that you don't even need AI for. So AI is great. It's going to be an amazing tool. There are other applications to AI besides rendering. It's going to help us design. And today we're going to use SketchUp. So we're going to first take a look at Midjourney, see what Midjourney can create. I hope I don't overwhelm you. And then after that, we're going to take a look at SketchUp as a design tool combined with AI. You are going to be blown away. It really is very interesting how it works. And it's called diffusion. SketchUp diffusion. So we're going to be taking a look at that. But first, let's go for it. Let's jump into Midjourney. And I'm going to jump into Midjourney right now. And we are just going to take a look at a few projects that I've done. Now, so obviously, there you go. I actually rendered the AI here for my marketing material. So if you ever want to render your marketing material, you can go into Midjourney. Now, Midjourney is based on can everyone see my screen? Okay, let me just jump this box here open. Give me 1 second, guys, just to gather my thoughts here. Okay, so Midjourney hosts itself into a program that's very much like Slack. Do you know what Slack is? Have you ever heard of Slack? Sort of like a communication tool. So Discord is the same thing, but for kids and gaming and whatnot, but it's much lighter on resources. So Midjourney hosts itself in there, and you can buy Midjourney. And when you buy Midjourney from the creators of Midjourney, they host it within here, and that's where you type all your stuff up, So what I'm going to show you today is basically how you'd create something. In Midjourney, if you wanted to create something like a building, like the one there that you see, you would type imagine, /imagine, okay, at the bottom here in the prompt. You can see here at the bottom. Can you see that, everyone? So you'd go and you'd say, okay, I want a cliff house in Cape Town which is in South Africa, surrounded by trees, sea, mountain. I want it to be postmodern. I'm not sure if this is going to work. If it doesn't work, I'll show you others that I've done. I'm going to show you a whole bunch. And with a touch of Frank Gehry, whatever. Okay. So now we're going to go and hit, is my spelling right here, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then you just go enter. And now, okay, it doesn't like that. Let's try again. Maybe it doesn't, it should work really easily. Cliff House, Cape Town. It should hit enter. And if it doesn't work, we'll just open up. There you go. We've kept it simple for now. So now what's happening on Midjourney, it's sent it back to their server in wherever it is, and it's going to create live. These are completely original images. These images, when you talk about copyright, it's the first time they exist in the world. There are no structures in the world that are built. But take a look at this. Now, you're not going to believe it, because this is what it created from that prompt. Okay. And it just knows how to do it, but it doesn't know how to do it from your drawings yet. You understand what I'm saying? As powerful as it is, you cannot upload a drawing here and get an accurate version as if it was creating it with its own will. It causes problems. It doesn't come out as beautiful as this. It doesn't match it exactly. But it's super interesting, because you can start telling it to do what it needs to do. Like, this is a magnificent night shot. How did it know that? I have no idea, you know. And I haven't put too many details in, but you can start to go back in to Midjourney. Now, it's created 4 images. It creates 4 images all the time. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be saying, create a Gothic temple. Whatever, it's going to create 4 different iterations of it. So you can go here now and choose which image you want. And you can say, I'm interested in this top left image here. And that image is called U1. U1. This image over here is called U2, 3, and 4. Now that means that you want that image. You can just go and simply make it a bigger render. Or you can click vary one. That you like one, but you want variations of one. So let's do that. Let's create a variation of one. So we're just going to create, we're going to choose this image here. We're going to say V1. This is how Midjourney really works. So it gives you the same prompt again. Now you could say, I want a swimming pool. Hopefully it will work. Sometimes it doesn't work because maybe the server is full. I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's the internet. I don't know. You could say some trees. You could say mountains in background. Let's see what it does. It will vary it. So there it goes off to artificial intelligence land, and it's going to start creating these images for you. Variations of it. The same building. Let's take a look. And not only that, it creates it at a high resolution. This is sort of the small resolution, the low resolution, but you can, it's still great. You can tell it to upscale it, and upscaling it will give you a big version of it. Now, this is literally mind-blowing. Take a look at this. Same building, different textures, It has a swimming pool, this magnificent cantilevered swimming pool here. There the mountains are in the background, just like it would look like in Cape Town, a lot like Rio de Janeiro, you know. This one's more of a brutalist type of architecture, just more concrete. You can see the concrete. This is more block. It's a 3-story. Maybe you could tell it to do a 2-story with a prompt. Here is a rim flow pool. But for me, like, so now it becomes a selection process. Which one do you enjoy the most? You know, you've got to go with your gut. And for me, this one, okay, I'm not going to say. Who chooses one? Put, you know, you can put your hand up. 1, 2, 3, or 4. 2, 4. Put your hands up. Which one do you prefer? 2. Me too. Okay, so let's go for 2. Go back to Discord. Let's go render 2. There you go. We're going to choose 2. We're going to upscale it. So I'm just going to show you basically how you upscale it. Really amazing. But it renders a single version of it. You can still vary it. You can still reprompt it. You know, maybe you don't want those mountains in the background. You can tell it to put Dubai in the background. We can try that. I don't know if it will work. But you can see here is a button that says upscale. So I can upscale it. It might take a while. But that would give me the ability to print it out on a canvas at a high resolution, which would look amazing. But there's some other cool things that you can do. So you can start telling it to turn it into a sketch. You could say, please turn this into a sketch. I want it to be Copic marker based. And I want a reflection in the pool. And let's see what it does. Hopefully, if you spell it right, it will do it. Reflection, sorry, I'm typing too quickly here. Copic marker. Copic, by the way, is my favorite tool. Let's just go for it. Okay. Let's see what happens with Midjourney. And then I'm going to show you some amazing images that have been created with this. But there you go. So it's starting to reiterate it as I guess, a drawing that was created with artistic tools. So let's just see. Yes, we're going to click on it. I think it's gone off track here a little bit because I'm not enjoying it really. Like this one, it's changed it already. So there are ways of telling it not to change, but you can see it's starting to think by itself. Now, you can start refining this, and I'm not going to do it right now because you can spend hours doing it. You know, it's one of those things that you get wrapped up in. So I'm going to show you other images that I've done. I'm going to show you, I did a whole lot of drawings with an Australian theme. And I'm a big fan of Glen Murcutt and outback architecture in Australia because I just absolutely love that stuff. But take a look at this. You've never seen anything like this. These are original images. You could literally create a coffee table book. Okay. I used the Copic marker prompts and I told it to reflect in a pool, and I kept on refining it and it started giving me iterations. But it's so powerful as an idea tool that it's absurd because it can give you just so many tectonic ideas, you know. So I wanted eucalyptus trees trees and this red rock, very similar to South Africa in a way for me. But I love these sort of houses that are up on platforms, obviously to create a sustainable like sort of ventilation underneath, and also to stay away from, you know, snakes and scorpions and whatnot. But to have this deck that you can go and take a look at the variations of this, you won't believe. I won't spend too much time on it, but I'm going to show you some more iterations. You won't believe how powerful. Take a look at this. Never been created before, solely for my own purpose while I was having a cup of coffee. You know, these are my 4 iterations. Okay. Super, super exciting. The only problem is, now I don't want to disappoint any of you. I really don't. I don't want to say to you, you know, that you shouldn't use it. What I wanted to suggest to you is there are ways of maintaining the integrity of a design, but I don't believe there's a way to take the design to this level yet as an image, you know. I don't believe you can get it to this level of artistic know-how. It's just, I've been trying for months and I just can't get my images to look like these free images, right? So that's my frustration. So I'm really communicating with you guys out there to tell you, please don't be disappointed if you can't do it with your design yet. But I'm sure it will happen. Maybe it will take a while. So let's just take a look. So these are iterations. Let me show you some more cool stuff. Okay. I'm going to show you, I did a whole series of imagery and I said, please, you know, I want it to look like the Guggenheim, but I also want a little bit of, what's the Spanish architect's name? I forgot. Sorry, I've just gone blank. But this is the type of stuff it gave me, a combination. So I said, combine this architect style and Gaudi. I said, combine Gaudi and Gehry together. I'm going to show you what happened.
Santiago Calatrava.
Exactly, as well. I'm going to try. It did a combination of Gaudi and Gehry. Isn't that crazy? It's just super crazy. I mean, how does it know? Who the hell knows? But anyway, so that blew me away. Let's just take a look at some more. You know, I told it that I wanted to use some container homes. I love container home design, tiny homes, and take a look at this. Just mind-blowing. I also told it to create it on the edge of a river, you know, with a reflection. But it's really just so compelling, and you can learn so much from this particular perspective just by looking at it. And it's an original. It's mine. Is it mine or is it Midjourney's? How does the copyright work? I would believe that this is my copyright, you know, because I prompted it. But
I used Midjourney for a different purpose about 3 weeks ago, and I created an image to accompany an article I was writing about housing, and I looked into Midjourney's copyright, and they say that if you have created the prompt, you have the image. It's your image.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I went to the newspaper said, well, where did you get this image? I said, I generated it on AI, and they said, oh, we've never printed an AI image. What do you have copyright? And I told them what Midjourney had provided in I think it was a chat. And they said, okay, well, we're going to credit that this is an AI image, and we're going to give you credit. Wow. I said, okay, that's fine.
It's amazing. So, I mean,
that's my understanding.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic, because like if you wanted to create a coffee table book and sell it on Amazon, then you could do it like this. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you don't need a photographer, but you could come up with some styles that you enjoy and you could write about them. So it gives us that ability, which is mind-blowing. It's absolutely liberating from
actually, just one note, the article was how shall we allow our huddled masses to sleep? And it was about housing. And after about the 12th prompt, it created this amazing image of a street in Santa Monica with stores and the ocean in the horizon and all these people sleeping in the middle of the street.
No, it's truly mind-blowing. It really, really is. And I get it. But the question is, you can't control it. Like, for instance, take a look at this. I'm going to show you. This is where I started. with my prompt, it gave me this house. And I thought it was okay. But then I started to vary it. And it's an interesting house on a mountain. But this is the one I eventually came up with about 7 or 8 iterations. Take a look at this. Take a look at the level of detail. I'm going to zoom out, and you're just going to zoom out and you'll see. Okay, so it's incredible. And you just, many iterations of this, you know. And so what I'm trying to suggest to you is that's all and good and dandy. You know, you can use it for city design and city conceptual design. I prompted it, I said, you know, whatever I said, I can't remember, but I can go back in the prompt. But take a look at the sketch work. It's like it's been done by hand. But the problem is remanifesting it back into reality. That's a tough place to be. And I'm going to show you how to, or what I think is going to be happening in the industry to overcome that. So hold on to your wigs, because let me tell you, what I'm about to show you now, I believe is going to be the way it's going to head into the future. And I had someone sitting next to me just before the session tonight, and I showed them what I'm about to show you, and they just couldn't believe it. And so as amazing as Midjourney is, it's great for ideas. You cannot, I guess, get this unbelievable level out of. You could try. We'll take a look at Prom AI at the end, but let's just take a look. That's where we are now in the world right now. This is the best that it gets. I haven't seen anything like it. And we're just going to jump into SketchUp now. Now, SketchUp, I'm sure Revit also, it's got its own AI attached to it. But SketchUp is just really amazing, because why is SketchUp amazing? It's just simply so simple to use. There's no technical stuff that you really, really need to know, like Revit and ArchiCAD. You can put stuff conceptually together quick. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how probably within 4 minutes, I can create a scheme that's rendered. And I'm talking about designing it first, right now. So in the next, okay, I don't know if it's going to take me 3 or 4 minutes, but you can time me. Let's take a look at this. And it's super, super interesting. And the beauty about SketchUp is that once you've, let's do it. And then let's not talk too much, and let's just do, you know. So here we go. I'm going to set up just conceptually. I've got the scale of this particular lady here. So for me, it's like, you know, I'm just going to freelance quickly. I'm just going to do a bit of a sketcher. I'm going to create some sort of house, you know, with some sort of platform. I'm just going to put a roof on here. I'm going to extrude this roof. Computer's running very slow. I don't know why. Here we go. And we're going to take that roof away. Now, this is an AI. This has been around for years, you know. So, but I'm going to put some windows here. Hopefully, these windows are going to be recessed. We're going to recess them, right? So I'm going to pull it back. You can see it's starting to happen, right? Just conceptually. So now we're working in scale. We really are working in scale. So this could be measured, you know, and where Midjourney is struggling with that whole idea. Okay, let's just make it a little bit clean. So I'm just going to pull this out. So I think we kept going on 3 minutes already, right? Let's just pull this out. Okay. So here we go. So I've got this happening, whatever I'm doing here. Just pull it out, sorry. Okay. Now, SketchUp's got something called diffusion. It's SketchUp diffusion, stable diffusion integrated to SketchUp. And what you can do is you can click on it here. It's installed in a full version of the SketchUp Pro, and you just click on it here. and you hit the style that you want. You can choose exterior, interior, aerial. We're going to stick to an exterior view, and we're going to hit generate. Now it's going to create what it thinks of your model. Now notice that it's very hard to control it. You know, you can prompt it, but at the end of the day, as designers, you don't always want to be prompting something. You know, you just want it to do it, you know. So here at the bottom, you can see it's come up with a whole bunch of iterations. Comes up with 3 iterations. 1, 2, 3. So if 2 for me is something interesting, I'm going to go add it as a scene. Let's just add it there. Let's take a look. That's pretty interesting, right? Now, if you've ever seen anything that quick, I haven't. But now let's say you want to do a design change. So let's say you feel that this swimming pool can drop a little bit. So you can pull it down a bit here in the model. You can go into the model here. And we can go and say, let's see what we can do here. We can go and give it a bit of a border here. You know, we can go and drop it down a little bit there. These windows here, we can pull an eave out, maybe all the way to the end here. We can pull it out, maybe even over the pool. Maybe this is some sort of, there you go. And maybe we can just put a couple of columns in here. Let's just put a column or 2, just so that this supports itself. Pull it out here a little bit. All right. And then, okay, let's see. Go back into our view. Those are our design changes. I'm absolutely loving what I see. Let's go and click this button again. Now, it's not going to keep what we've got. It's going to give us a new version of it. So hopefully it's as nice as that version. And we're just going to wait for this loading to happen here. Okay, we're going to try again. There we go. Let it do its loading. So we've done a model iteration, but we haven't done a render iteration. So what I'm trying to say is that you can re-render that exact view if it allows it to happen. And it's possibly because we are on Zoom at the same time that it's causing issues. Let's try again. Here we go. Here we go. Exterior, and let's just go. We can. I guess you can save this. You can save the scene, and it's saving it as an image. But yeah. Let's just do that again. I'm just going to close all these images down here. Maybe it's just giving us. We're just going to hit generate. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, guys. It's definitely a delay in the network. There we go. So now we're reiterating it with the change. And that's pretty cool because it probably will, you know, just render this overhang and the pool that we've offset. And here we go. We are going to take a look at what it's just done. First iteration. Interesting. Second iteration. There's a back wall in here. I don't know how it happened, but it's decided to put a back wall in, which is kind of absolutely okay for me. But there you go. So you can play around with it until you get what you want. So I believe that this is the future and the direction. If you want to do conceptual proposals quickly, show your client what you want to do, then this is a great way to to work. It's a fantastic way to work. And because you can use the existing model, obviously, if you jump out of the model, it's going to be a white model. But what I'm going to show you now, it's sort of like a workaround. If you want to call it a workaround, you go and you say project photo, and it maps the actual image, which is a two-dimensional image, onto the surface of your model, and it will trim it, but it won't do a mind-blowing job. It will do an okay job, which gives you the ability to preserve the quality of the image. So let's just go and see what that is going to look like. So there you go. Can you see that? So it projected those facades, which is very, very cool. But it's not precise. So it's great. It's great. Now, so if it was me going into a presentation, now I would need to jump into Photoshop to touch it up. And that's what Photoshop is. And we're not going to get into Photoshop tonight because it's a process, another process. And it's just very interesting what you can do. So what I wanted to show you next is I want to show you where we've come from as a student body. We've had over 300-400 students through our training. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of what they're producing lately. But why I wanted to just go back a bit is because I wanted to say, with the skills that I'm going to show you that my students have, then AI is open to you like never before. So let's just go and take a look at that. I want to show you some of the latest work. And we're not even using AI, and we're using a similar process that's quick. But at the end of the day, you know, you can get mind-blowing stuff just with SketchUp and Photoshop. You can really do cool stuff. And I see Angie's online, so I'm going to show yours first. Let's see. So we're into a handcrafted image. The reason why we're into handcrafted images is because they are really cool to show the clients. Let's just go into, here we go. Struggling here a bit with my processes, just close mid-journey down there. There we go. We'll end here, guys. I'm going to show you this, and then what we're going to do is I'll just show you these images. Hopefully it opens on the right page. Here we go. Sorry, I was opening on my left page, and I'm on my right page. Here we go. So this is where the class has really excelled. Is we do the models. Obviously, you can model in SketchUp, you can model in Revit, ArchiCAD, Vectorworks, whatever you need to model in. But we kind of try and synthesize almost a hand sketch, but we use SketchUp and Photoshop, which are the tools that you need for AI too, because you could give this to AI and it can interpret it. But I still feel that, you know, this type of image is just a wonderful, wonderful image. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of images that the students have done by hand. So from urban design, you know, using Photoshop also to pull things together. Planning, you know. So this is a project that a young man in Toronto has just accomplished. His name's Juan, and he won the competition that we had in our community, and he just produced this amazing work. And the thrust of our philosophy is to make it look hand-rendered with the computer, but you've got complete control over the whole process still. This is all done without AI, but you can incorporate aspects of AI into this process. So that's what we're trying to say, is that you can overlay stuff that you create in AI, but you need Photoshop skills. So you need the SketchUp and Photoshop to be able to do this post-production, you know, and take a look at these magnificent perspectives. You know, the whole competition was based around a pool party, you know, and there was the competition, and this is a resort that he designed, and using the abilities of just SketchUp and Photoshop without AI. And take a look at this elevation and this perspective. I'm just going to zoom in here. And just the level of creativity, you know, and it's so easy, really, if you get it right, it's so easy to create really compelling perspectives without AI. You don't need AI. Sometimes AI is unnecessary, but obviously if you're really interested in using AI, you can fuse it with this process. And so that is just like really cool stuff. Take a look at this balloon in the background. You know, the quality of this brise soleil, the handcrafted style. And the reason why I'm speaking about this is, the truth be told, is there's something about a handcrafted style, and this style is called the artful sketch-like render. The handcrafted style resonates with the client for some reason, maybe because it's just easier to look at than a photorealistic render. And the hand-rendered style speaks about craftsmanship, you know. It speaks about the architect being a craftsman. And what's happening in the world with photorealistic stuff is that that sense of craftsmanship is being eradicated from photorealistic stuff. So if sort of going backwards a little bit with technology to get it looking as amazing as this, a pre-concept stage is really mind-blowing. So anyway, those are a few images. I'll just show you some more images that we create. Interiors as well, mind-blowing interiors. You know, take a look at this pencil work, sketch work. We use Photoshop to do that and to achieve those textures. Like, this is just really cool stuff as well, but this is all done by the human being. So the question that you need to ask really now is it AI or is it artificial intelligence by itself, or can it be a combination of the two? And I believe, and I'm going to open up for questions right now, that it needs to be a combination of both, and will always need to be a combination of both to maintain that integrity, so that you know, that we can impress firstly ourselves and impress our clients. I just lost the presentation there, so I just want to go back, open it, just so we can. I've got a little bit of an announcement here. There we go. Let me just grab this presentation again. So we're doing something super interesting. I'm going to cut and paste the link for you, and I just want to drop down into that slide. So just give me a second while it loads. I've never loaded so many things on my web in one go. So just be patient while it loads here. Okay. So I'm doing something really different this time, and it would be really great to meet you. I'm going to be doing small groups of critiques. So really what this is that it's not like a one-on-one. It's like, if you go to this particular link, it's completely complimentary. Then you will be, if you book a time, you'll be included into a group of people, maybe 4 or 5 people, and you can share your screen with us, and we're going to give you a critique. And all those people are going to be other people like you that have been on a demonstration like this. And we're going to take a look at your work, and we're going to see if we can give you a critique. It's going to be a positive critique. There's no negative critiques. Everyone starts and stops at different levels. Over the last year, we've met hundreds and hundreds of people, but I feel that the group dynamic is just absolutely wonderful. So if you've got imagery that you want us to critique, I'm going to paste this now into the chat here, and we'd love to meet you. You'll get to meet other people as well, and there's no cost to it. It's just so that we can meet you. And besides meeting you, the whole idea is that I get to learn about what other architects are going through. It helps me refine my training and distill my training. So it benefits me, and I'll be in that group. I've got 4 groups set up this week, and you'll be sort of put in that group with another 4 people. No stress, and I'm going to paste it here. And you can just come and join us, and love to see what you're doing, give you feedback on what you're doing. And I'm going to open up, go for it. You can go to Masterclass, write this down, masterclass.conceptdesignarchitect.com/book me. And if you go there now, there are 4 slots. They're going to be taken up by the end of tomorrow. Go and grab your spot. Come and join us. Come and meet us. Come and meet me. I'd like to get to know you personally, give you some feedback. It's really something that I really enjoy doing. And masterclass.conceptdesignarchitect.com, just like it was on the screen. And it will also be emailed out to you, so you can click on that link. It should come your way in about an hour. But I'm going to open up for questions, as discussion even. Not even questions, but maybe between us we can discuss. Go for it. I see some questions here on the chat. Was the watercolor style something you input? Yes, Tom Hoover. He's asking me if the Midjourney watercolor style. Yes, you can input watercolor. You can ask ChatGPT to tell you the different styles that exist out there. You can ask ChatGPT to prompt you with different styles so that you can put them in. And you can even ask ChatGPT to prompt you with the whole thing. You know, what architect, what colors, whatever, and it will give you a bit of information, and then you can plug that into Midjourney. But you can try out Midjourney, I think, but you may need to subscribe to it. I think it costs $90 for the whole year. It's really well worth it, you know. And so that's what I suggest. Any questions? Here we go. Another question. Daniel Byrne says, is there a way to save a seed style similar to the ways various producers? I'm sure. I'm definitely sure that you can save styles, but I would say maybe save it as a text file. So Midjourney runs deep, but you know, I'm a busy architect. I don't really have time to delve into that technical stuff on that level, but you can definitely go on YouTube and find some guys that are jumping in on that depth, you know. But yes, I do believe you can save a seed style. Anyway, guys, you're welcome to switch your microphones on. How much does the AI plugin cost? For what? For SketchUp? It comes with SketchUp. SketchUp Diffusion is part of Trimble. So if you buy SketchUp, or if you're using a trial, it should be in there. You've just got to add it as an extension. You've got to manually add it. So it doesn't like sort of pop up default on the desktop, but you've just got to add it. And yeah, so it's free, but it's mind blowing. And it really is something that excited me today. So yeah. So guys, that's it for me this evening. I'm hoping to 5 minutes if you want to ask some questions. Otherwise, if you don't have any, fascinating. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. That's what Hilbrand says. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was very informative. I've been following your work for a little while, and I love what you create. And I'd like to learn more at some point in the near future on how to emulate you. You have fantastic work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But even more fantastic are my students. My students are producing work that are in the last 6 months. I mean, Angie's on here. She can vouch for it, because we have the most amazing critique sessions during the week, and they're really making a huge impact. Right, Angie?
Yeah, absolutely, Jason. Great to see you. Yeah, there's a great bunch of people, and everybody has their own styles. And it's really great what you bring out, all the different talents, and point us in the direction of whatever the technology is applicable to the different styles of projects that the people are doing. So I'm really delighted. I'm on to a couple of other projects that I'm applying your techniques with, and trying to keep up with the AI options. So it's great to see this.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't be overwhelmed.
Okay.
I hear you. The AI stuff can overwhelm someone. Don't be overwhelmed. It's just fluff. And I wanted to say that whatever you've seen tonight, or whatever processes you've seen, just one more thing I wanted to suggest is that there's no quick fix in life. When it comes to communicating 3D stuff or visualization, it's like any sport. You need to practice it. And so if you see a course online that says, in 3 weeks you'll learn how to do this, it's not true. It's just lies. And so, when you take a look at the ancient universities, like the Darks and all these type of universities that specialize in perfection of perspective and design, you can't be an island. You need to be part of a community that can help you grow, just like it is at design school. You need to be able to pin your work up, and you need to be able to get that feedback to grow. You can't grow behind your computer by yourself with a tutorial that's playing. Although we do have tutorials, we found that growing is extremely important with a community. So that's, if you want to like sort of improve on your skills, it's super important to make sure that whoever you're going to learn from, that there is a community, especially if you're a design architect. Now, that's what I just wanted to say, and welcome to the Artful Render and whatever you've seen tonight, and just really excited to share more with you. And you'll be able to pick this up in the email, and we'll speak another time, and look forward to sharing again with you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Yeah.
Keep well, everyone.